Day one at Rally Otago was Mason Day. Richard Mason won every stage from Hayden Patton, while the rest of the competition floundered minutes back. It's a new day, there are new stages. Can anyone step up to the pace of the yellow B&T Subaru? It's day two, Rally Otago. Hello and welcome to the early morning crackle of a rally car. It's 7 o'clock downtown Dunedin, Sunday morning. A lovely scenic circle behind me. And of course we're back outside the Southern Cross Hotel for day two, leg two for the Rally of Otago, which is round two of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. I'm Clint Brown. Glad you can join us. Well, weather-wise today for the second leg, they're expecting some driving wind and rain. And also for the drivers, they're expecting a real test today, some new stages to check out into the Highlands. So let's check them out straight away with the Vantage Stage Preview and Emma Gilmore.
Sunday sees us start with two new stages again. It's been about 10 years since the Otago Rally's headed north out of the city, and these stages are quite different to south of the city, a bit more open, and if we're going to get snow, this is where we'll be getting it. Ramrock Road at 30 kilometres long, it's going to be a real wake-up call in the morning. Talking to the guys that drove it on Silver Fern last year, it sounds like it's very fast, and with us on pace notes, it's going to be even faster. Then have just enough time to recover ourselves before we have a short 9-kilometre stage, again on public roads, before we head back to service. After service, we head out to Waipori, another famous Otago Rally stage. A stage that definitely demands respect. You start off with the river on the left-hand side, go over a bridge, and then you've got it on the right-hand side. Again, surprisingly fast considering how narrow the road is. We then head to Duns, which is the longest stage of the event at 52 kilometres. This is going to be absolutely huge. It will be the deciding stage of the event because if you have any problems in here, it'll be rally over. You cannot afford to get a puncture in this stage. But being a forestry road, it's always going to be on the cards, and it's also up quite high, so we could strike snow if it's cold enough. If you survive that, we've still got another sting in the tail with the Kuri Bush stage. This stage is the closest you get to a stage like Finland. Huge crests, high speed, it's a real buzz when you get to the end of it and you know you've done a good job. Then the final stage of the day, Warri Flat, nice stage, close to Dunedin, should be a big crowd there to cheer us on home.
Well, the former two-time New Zealand Rally Championship really has been in fantastic form so far, Richard Mason. Let's check out the rest of the action today and what the drivers can look forward to as we head into the Highlands. So let's go up to Middlemarch where Roger Davis is there. Why are you there, Roger?
Thanks, Clint. Well, Middlemarch is quite well known because of the Middlemarch annual ball where the city girls meet the farmers. But the reason we're here is for the first time the National Rally Championship has gone north and the service park is right here. So this little town will be woken up by rally cars very shortly.
And it's a cool, clear, fine day in Otago in the Highlands. 38 kilometres of special stages between the start and the service at mighty Middlemarch. Mason and Mason into the stage now after a very impressive day one.
Talking about impressive, just look at these roads. Wide, fast and flowing, and you can see where you're going for a long time. First up, early this morning, 29 kilometres through here, and you certainly got to be wide awake and have your game on right from the word go. It's big bravery stuff.
It's called Ramrock, and Mason rams over the rock in a time of 15 minutes 55.9. Patton was the only driver to stay in touch with Mason on day one. Will a new day bring a stronger challenge from the man from Geraldine in South Canterbury?
Well, you can see a little bit there. He's got a bit of an understeer problem like he had yesterday. But these roads will certainly test Hayden Patton. Very, very fast roads. And just on that corner there, Clint, you can see that Hayden Patton drifting wide, actually throwing the car to get the car in to try and get over the understeer problem.
Checking out his time as he comes down to the finish on the opening stage of day two. 16:07.5. He's slower than Mason. Chris West suffered a puncture on stage one. Now on the second day, he needs to get off to a good start without any problems. Him and Gary Cowan.
He certainly does need to get off to a good start, and he's looking pretty good through here.
And the Andrew Sims Mitsubishi.
Just have a look at him through that line, how different he was to Hayden Patton. Kept the car right in on the inside.
5 right plus into middle
problem here. Looks like this car's lost a lot of power. It's gone from 300 horsepower to about 60. I'd say a turbo problem.
60?
Certainly a turbo boost problem.
No, all right.
And the stage time shows the 18 minutes, 23 seconds, nearly 2.5 minutes lost to Mason. Another shocker for Westy. Dean Sumner, next through the stage, he had an average day in the forests on day one, admitting that he'd lost a bit of confidence from his big crash. So how will he cope with this road and the high-speed brows?
Well, it's going to be hard for Dean Sumner this morning to get over these roads because this is big bravery stuff, as was said before. And you've really got to have a lot of confidence to drive over here. And this road's very similar to the Wairarapa road where he crashed around about a month ago.
His time at the end of the stage, 16:53.5. Wow, that's nearly a minute slower. Brett Martin managed to get through in 16 minutes, 34.9, 39 seconds down on Mason.
Just have a look at Brett Martin through here. He's got a bit of speed going. And he's trying it in here all right. Had a couple of goes through there. But no, he's looking good first up.
So can Stuart Taylor come close. He was consistently third fastest on day one on the Total Evo, but didn't have the same pace as Patton or Mason. Will he be the best of the rest again?
Quite a bit of downhill stuff here too, Clint, in this stage. And it's all fast the whole way. One thing that impresses me with Stu Taylor is how smooth he is with the car.
Classic shots of the Otago highlights today.
And just have a look at Stewie Taylor. Like I said, very smooth with the car, nice and gentle. And that usually means a fast stage time.
We're about to find out as they come down to the finish. Smooth and fast, the classic saying. Stops the clock at 16:33.2, just ahead of Martin. So third place again for Stuart Taylor. Now, good run from Kellen McInnes. He's fifth fastest through the stage, second Subaru, but 14 seconds down on Martin. Sloane Cox, seventh fastest, 13 seconds behind the other Rotorua racer, Dean Sumner. But problems again for Emma Gilmore. Team had found the car was down on power at the end of day one, and this is a power stage.
It certainly is. It's a place where you need plenty of power. Richard Mason was doing about 185k through here, but Emma Gilmore, just look at this. There's just no power in that car. Very frustrating.
So another frustrating day for Emma Gilmore, losing speed, losing time. In fact, by the stage end, she'd lost about 1.5 minutes.
6 left plus.
Andre Meyer was the best rookie in ninth. These stages are a real learning curve for the young driver. Grant Barber in 10th, just 4 seconds back. Kirsty Nelson, 11th, a minute 53 down on Mason, but also 30 seconds down on Andre Meyer. So Meyer winning that battle easily. In fact, Nelson was being beaten by the Kiwi 2 leader, Dave Strong.
We've been talking about this being a power and confidence stage, and this combination sure has some of that.
And he was 12 seconds quicker than Aaron Cook through the stage. No surprise, next fastest, Bert Murray in the RX-7, the main freight Mazda. Plenty of power in this baby. Chris West would end up 15th while Chris Lang led the Fiesta Trophy Challenge, but the Fords are well down on the power of the Hondas. Now, Rob Wiley had only just got going at the stage when he was hailed down by a spectator.
Are they all right? No, they're not all right. No.
That's because Richard Kelsey, a competitor in the International Classic Rally, had suffered a huge crash. So now they have to stop to make sure that they're okay and they're safe.
This is where you forget about the competition side of the rally, and you've got to go and look after your fellow competitor. Obviously, Richard Kelsey and Rob Scott are injured.
Is it an emergency phone?
And Rob Wiley has to get assistance here as quick as he can.
You what?
He needs help.
Yep, coming. It's going to get off the road.
Richard Kelsey and Rob Scott were airlifted to Dunedin Base Hospital and were recovering after the big crash. Back on the leaderboard, Richard Mason does it again, an 11-second lead over Hayden Paddon. Taylor the best of the rest. Magic stuff, just a 9k, short little sprint back to service. Moonlight stage and daylight between Mason and the rest. And he would rock through the stage in a time of 4 minutes 50.8.
Well, there's something strange about that car. Just on the bonnet on the right-hand side, it's sitting up a little bit.
So it could be a problem for Mason. Could be a chance for Hayden Paddon to try and close up that gap. Just 1.1 seconds down on Mason.
But just look how much of the road Hayden's using. The problem he's had to go for a very wide tyre. And you can see there the car floating across the top of the surface with this wide tyre. Hayden's got a lot of forward grip. He's got good braking grip, but very little side bite in this car.
Rally drivers love it when you can feel the car biting through the corner. So, being a short stage, everyone was much more competitive. Stuart Taylor, third fastest, just 4 seconds behind Mason.
5 right plus, 16. Long 4 right.
Well, Stewie Taylor's running a narrower tyre, and you can see how he can drive through the corner a lot better than Hayden Paddon. The car's not sliding over the top. Also notice that the road's got a bit of a swept line there now.
Long 7 left plus, opens, then tightens, 600.
Classic roller coaster ride through the Otago Highlands.
Certainly is, Clint. It's fast.
Chris West and Gary Cowan had to repair the turbo hose, which blew off in stage 1, causing the loss of power. They were back on the pace. Fourth fastest.
But remember, Clint, they were 15th after stage 1. No doubt they'll be climbing up through the field. And it's another day where Westy's really got to put his head down and go for it to get a good result.
5 up it. Middle short 5 right plus, 34 right minus.
The top 5 didn't change, with Martin still leading McInnes. But Grant Barber was the man on the move. Now sharing 9th with Meyer and closing within 2 seconds of Gilmore in 8th. Dave Strong still led the two-wheel drives. And Bert Murray led the classics. And an outstanding drive by the old classic Ridge Cook in the short stage. He made up 7 places after problems on stage 8. Chris Lang, though, went backwards into last place, hitting a fence and struggling for over 2.5 minutes to get out. So as they head to Sevens, it's Mason in front by 12.7 seconds from Paddon.
And Grant Barber, the only mover in the top 10, now on 9th.
Dave Strong continues to lead the two-wheel drive class.
Reg Cook 16th in front of a lot of classic cars. Richard, first 2 stages this morning created a little bit of damage under the car.
Yeah, I say, cut a corner through some grass, and this time it was one of those ones you shouldn't cut. There was a great big sharp rock in there, and it was going to hit it on the tyre, and I made a split-second decision that, hey, if I hit it on the tyre, it's going to break all the suspension out of it, so I'll take it on the sump yard. So I just turned a little bit more, and quite a big hit on there, pushed all the rad support up, all the bonnet up and everything, so yeah, quite a bit of damage from that.
Hayden second after 2 stages, 12.4 down on Richard.
Yeah, as usual, Richard's flying, and it's a bit of deja vu as well, where I think we were the same margin down at the first service yesterday, so there's a few more stages today. I'm going to grip my teeth and try and get into it and try and close the gap.
And relaxing in 3rd place, Stuart Taylor, sussing things out in the service at Middlemarch.
Yeah, same as yesterday. Once again, the other 2 had run off and left me behind. Brett and I seem to be trading times rather closely, so things are good. The car's running really well, so no, I'm quite happy with how things are going.
And after damaging his car on day 1, Callum McInnes was having a much better start to day 2.
Yeah, we had a pretty good morning so far. Everything seems to be going well.
Those 2 stages pretty quick.
Yeah, they were, especially that first one. It was flat out, the second half of it, and need to be a bit brave. Obviously, some people were braver than me.
And despite some great work by the team, more drama for Emma Gilmore.
Yes, drama in the fact that the car's slow and we haven't got any power or much boost, but I mean the car's handling good, so I mean they were fantastic stages, so I'm trying to look on the positives here. But yeah, it's very disappointing again that the boys worked till early hours this morning. We still haven't really found the problem.
The one guy going strong with his Sunday morning drive was Dave Strong, leading Kiwi 2 class.
Yeah, it's a good wake-up, those stages. You don't want to wake up slow in there. It just happens. Bang, off the start line, you're in 5th and 6th gear. Really gutsy stuff.
Fast speed through there, obviously.
Oh, yeah, a lot of 6th gear and lots of blind crests. A few of those crests, I just couldn't take the note. You're just going way too fast and the wipers are lifting off the screen, and it's pretty scary.
And after a long tour for Middlemarch and the chance to top up the fuel tanks, it was back to the familiar territory of Waipori Gorge, this year running up the river towards the power station. And rain falling too.
Certainly is. Richard Mason all over the road there for a minute. Well, this is a very tricky stage in the wet. You've got steep cliffs on one side and a drop onto the river on the other side. You've got to be fast and accurate.
Mason's time, 7 minutes 52.2. Remember, it's a change of direction this year for this stage, so how would that affect Patton's time?
Well, it'd certainly be a challenge for them, but you've got to remember they've got pace notes, so that's what they'd be focusing on, the pace notes through the stage.
His time, 7 minutes 59.8. Still can't beat Mason. Speaking of experience, Chris West has plenty down here, raced around these Otago roads many times in both directions.
Well, I think Chris West will use his experience now as a test session. 13th going into this stage. Westy knows that a podium is virtually impossible, so the best result today would be to get as many miles under his belt in the new car.
Well, it's working his time, 7 minutes 59.7, just a point of a second faster than Patton. Stuart Taylor also in touch through the stage.
Well, just have a look at the conditions there, Clint. You'd probably expect them with this rain to be a little bit worse, but I think they're actually getting better.
Wake up, 80, finish, 3 right opens.
Well, there you go, a wake-up call from the co-driver, and it's worked, 8 minutes 03.1. Brett Martin stayed in 4th place through here, but the gap to 3rd place Taylor now 14 seconds. Callum McInnes also holding position in the top 5. In fact, very few positional changes on the stage. Dean Sumner still playing it safe in 6th.
All right, 100. This is all right, 100.
Paul Fallon, the co-driver, repeating the call there, just trying to give Dean a little bit of confidence. It'll be very tricky to drive through here with these road conditions, and of course Dean's confidence at a bit of a low at the moment.
Must be a hard ass coming back from a big crash though for the drivers.
Especially in these roads.
Sloane Cox had dropped back but was still 7th ahead of Gilmore, getting all the experience he can of this event. Emma Gilmore, just another frustrating Sunday for her though, coming into this big stage as well.
Well, we know she lost 3 seconds a K in the first stages. If the car's no better, then she could lose up to 2.5 minutes over the big long stage coming up.
Talking of losing time, Andre Meyer was only 11th fastest, and that was enough to let Grant Barber hold 9th. Remember, these two were locked in a tie for 9th. Kirsty Nelson 12th behind Chris West. Drama in Kiwi 2 class, Dave Strong out with transmission problems as the Honda loses drive in the stage.
These cars are so highly tuned, and Dave has been extracting maximum power out of their little Honda. Unfortunately, that puts a huge strain on the drivetrain, and I'd say that's what's happened here.
No gears. Oh, you joke? Oh, God.
So Aaron Cook takes over the lead in that class. Bert Murray retains the lead in the classic class, 15th overall ahead of Reg Cook, who was 40 seconds back, just 0.1 seconds clear of Ewan Fuge in the RX3. Fuge is normally a pace setter in this class, but he had an average day on leg 1, and Deborah Kibble and Rob Wiley were closing it. Kibble just 12 seconds away in 17th overall. More rain and mist coming down as the cars head to the Beddock Forest. This will be a true test of driver, co-driver and car. 51 kilometres, changing conditions and the driving rain as well.
This is the crunch stage of the rally, and you can easily see wholesale position changes through here.
Great shots on board with the Masons, but of course there's even no way that we can show you on TV what it must be like to endure 30 to 40 minutes inside a rally car in treacherous conditions. But one thing we can do is compare Mason and Padden on the same stage in the same conditions.
Break, mid-crest, 37.
55 right minus, don't cut.
100.
Just listen to the co-drivers.
120. 5 left plus.
Sarah Mason sounds so relaxed when she's calling notes, but John Kennard with Hayden Padden certainly has a sense of urgency in his voice.
Half straightens.
The other thing to notice is Richard Mason seems to be cutting the corner a little bit more than Hayden Padden, getting in on the apex.
So we've seen them side by side. Let's check them out as they charge down towards the finish. Mason approaching the finish line.
100. Repeat, absolute crest jump, 87 left. 30 absolute crest, keep right.
Big
100.
jump there, Clint, and another one coming up.
Like a roller coaster.
Don't cut.
Unbelievable.
This is like Finland.
150.
Well, you have to be committed on these Otago roads. 30 minutes, 34.3, an average speed of 100 kilometres an hour.
Richard, 51 kilometres. Did you get affected by rain or mist?
Oh, yeah, there was heaps of rain and mist in there. I've got a habit of hitting things today. I've hit a couple of rocks in there. I can't believe we didn't puncture. I suppose that's just because we're using Dunlop tyres, but just unbelievable that we didn't puncture. We were very lucky, I think.
OK, so how is Padden going to match that time?
Wow, just look at that commitment he's got through there. He's flying.
80. Flat mid-crest, 18k left. 50, flat right crest.
Here comes these big yumps again, Brownie.
Break on right crest, 100, full right.
And there goes your gut.
Narrows.
This is commitment plus.
3101.9 and drama in the car.
Every time you get that bloody gravel noise, it just distorts all to hell and you can't hear anything. I can't hear it and you can't hear me.
Hayden, looks like Rich has gone about 25 seconds quicker through there.
Yeah, the intercom failed about a quarter of the way through and I could only barely hear John, so I was focusing so much on trying to listen to the right notes and get here, and there was a few hairy moments, but very frustrating. Like we've been pushing hard all weekend and come here and a silly thing like an intercom fails on us, so never mind.
We talked before about how positions could change on this stage. Westy, 11th going into the stage and really going for it.
Certainly is. If he drives like that, he's definitely going to come out 10th or better, maybe even better than that.
4 left minus and 5 left plus.
Can anyone beat Richard Mason on one of these stages today? Could it be Westy on the comeback?
Big concentration there. He's trying hard.
Left plus 50.
Now West down towards the finish.
6 left minus into 7 right minus on crest. 30 flat middle crest. 60 3 right don't cut and narrows. 60.
Wow, what a ride! 31, 11.4, 37 seconds down on Mason, but enough to bring him up into the leaderboard again.
Chris, a little bit of the forest debris on the front bonnet there.
Yes, pretty slippery in there, and the car felt really good. I was happy in there, not pushing as hard as what I should, but we haven't got much incentive today apart from climbing up the leaderboard with a conservative approach and working on the car and myself, obviously.
Well, has that put a bit of pressure on this man now, Stuart Taylor?
Well, maybe the pressure will come from the fact that Stuart is running further down the field. So he's car 6, so he'll have to watch out for the rocks that the other cars are throwing out on the road. So a puncher here would be a guaranteed 3-minute time loss. Oh, big lock up here.
4th fastest, still in 3rd place. Brett Martin was up on Taylor's pace in the early part of the stage. But in the end, he was 1 minute 20 down on Mason's time, so will stay behind Taylor in 4th.
These stages are certainly for the brave. You see Brett Martin trying to pull the car up through here.
Callum McInnes in the Milk Bar Subaru, slower again than Martin. Hasn't quite got that brave-heart approach on a monster stage like this.
Yes, and Dean Sunley, you can see, is taking things a little bit easier as well. Probably even a little bit slower than Callum McInnes through here.
20 in long 4 right minus. This is long 4 right minus.
It's a bit of a cautious drive here by Sumner, but determined to finish the stage and finish the day.
120.
Get their confidence back by spending time in the car.
This is 4 right plus. Kinks 120 over
7th fastest, now dropping to 7th overall. Sloane Cox 8th fastest. Not bad for the youngster. This would definitely be a new experience for the junior drivers too. Andre Meyer loved this stage, but while his pace didn't change, others around him put in a charge with surprising results. Kirsty Nelson was 35 seconds faster than Meyer through the stage. In fact, she made up 3 places, climbing from 12th to 9th.
Opens the 6 right. A bit of puncher.
Oh, Glenn McNeil calling the notes for Emma Gilmore in the Vantage Subaru. And after losing time in the morning, with problems with the car, now they've got a puncture.
Well, you can see why too with those rocks on the road. Obviously pierced the left rear tyre.
Now, she told us in the Vantage stage preview this is the worst place to get a puncture.
Opens and tightens long.
Well, it's certainly been character building for Emma, her home rally. To be honest, she deserves a lot better than this.
Is there ejection coming up? Medium. Yeah, there is in a little while.
Talking of problems, computer problems for Grant Barber in the Prestone Impreza, but he pressed on even though he lost up to 4 places.
80.
And just to make things worse for Emma Gilmore, now she's right up Barber's bumper. Going to lose some more time.
And remembering Barber's got a big problem down on power, so she's going to be held up.
120, 4 right minus long. He's going to let you go, I think, Emma. He's letting you go. Yeah, he's got a puncher. 4 right minus long, 60.
Well done, Grant Barber. Pulls over and lets Emma go. Good sportsmanship.
Long, hug late.
Bert Murray had a sensational run here in this 22-year-old car, the main freight Mazda. Grabbed first place in the 2-wheel drive class, overtaking Aaron Cook. He was now 12th, 4.4 seconds behind Murray, but leading the Kiwi 2 class with Dave Strong out. Reg Cook was second Kiwi 2, 15th overall. He was actually 13th fastest through the long stage and now trailed Aaron Cook by 1 minute and 55 seconds. Another big mover on the stage, Rob Wiley. The Nissan driver just 5 seconds slower through the stage than the modern Nissan of Cook, and he moved up 3 places to 16th, second in the Classics.
2 right in the junction, 2 right.
Oh, nearly lost it there. In fact, he has overdone it a little bit. Good save, Rob, says the co-driver, Paul Turner.
Good recovery, boys.
Interesting to see that the rear-wheel drives have performed well here.
Deborah Kibble slips to 3rd in the Classic class, 17th overall. Ben Jagger in the Ford Fiesta. Getting it nice and sideways, 3rd in Kiwi 2, 18th overall. Dermot Malley picking up the pace, just 17 seconds slower than Kibble through the 51k monster. And a huge job ahead for Chris Lang after his early problems. He was 2.5 minutes down on the Fiesta of Jagger. Out of the good old boys race, Frankham and Cameron today, was Frankham who was winning the battle in the title of win from Hawke's Bay. So a busy service ahead at Lake Waihola. Richard Mason now looking odds-on to win every stage of the rally.
But look at Chris West, moved up to 5th place.
And look at Kirsty Nelson up to 9th.
Bert Murray leading Classics in 11th. Aaron Cook leading Kiwi 2 in 12th.
Emma Gilmore struggling back in 14th. But look at Ben Jagger now leading the Ford Fiestas. But back at service is all about Richard Mason beating them up.
Big lead 2 stages ago. You're going to back off?
Oh, look, I don't like backing off too much. I think the best way is just to try not to be silly.
And changing to a spare helmet helped solve the intercom problems for Hayden Patton, but all he could hope for today was 2nd place.
Yeah, we lost too much time in that last stage here, so now it's a matter of protecting 2nd and just getting to the finish.
Richard pulled a whopping one in there. Did you have a problem?
Yeah, the intercom failed about quarter of the way through, which was a bit of a pain. One of it was in my helmet, and I hardly could hear John's calls, missed lots of calls, had a few hairy moments, and it was more of a matter of just trying to really focus on a little bit I could hear and a little bit of focus went off my driving, so it was a matter of getting through there, which we did, and just a bit unfortunate, come at the wrong time and for the long stage.
But jumping 6 places into the top 5, an outstanding drive for Chris West and great for the team.
Yeah, we're reasonably happy. Like, the Sims Lancer is going good. We made a few changes to it just prior to going in there after the gorge, and I feel the car's really good. It's more myself. Pretty hard all weekend and knocked the confidence a wee bit, and all those things are taken into consideration, I guess.
And despite her terrible day, Emma Gilmore smiling and putting on a brave face.
Unfortunately, we've got a reoccurrence of the centre diff issue we had yesterday, so the car's now handling erratically as well. So on top of the fact we actually have no power, obviously had the problem with the puncher as well. It's now the handling is actually gone exactly the same as what happened yesterday. So it's at the moment we have no idea why it has actually happened again.
But a great result for Kirsty Nelson, who was putting it down to great teamwork with the co-driver Michelle Brunt-Clark.
The car went amazing. Michelle went real well. The tyres were just perfect for the conditions. It rained in some places, but it just worked to our advantage and it went really well.
You find that the longer the stage went, the better you went?
Yeah, I didn't really want the stage to end at all. It was really unfortunate, but 50 k's was quite long.
Coming up, hold on to your helmet. It's the roller coaster finish to the Rally of Otago. So just 2 stages to go. The roller coaster Kuribush, famous for the treacherous Joe's Corner and for the 64 times the word crest appears in the stage notes. And then Whare Flat, the sprint course through to the forest and the outskirts of Dunedin. But before we check out the stage, check out this new initiative on the championship, a dedicated zero car and its very dedicated driver, Trevor Taylor.
Well, we've gained a little bit of experience, and 2 years ago I competed in the National Championship and gained experience at that level. I had an Evo 8 at that stage.
And what do you actually look for? What do you do when you go through the stage?
We're obviously checking that the marshals are in place, the ambulance FIVs, the radio points, that the spectators haven't encroached onto the road where they shouldn't be. Animals, we chased a sheep off the road in stage 11. He heard us coming and he went straight through the fence.
So with Trevor out in front clearing the way, the Masons are ready for the stage.
Go 300 absolute crest.
Well, this road was notorious in the days before pace notes for catching drivers out on the many blind brows. And as you said, Clint, there's 64 noted crest in the pace notes, and those pace notes make these drivers really fly through the stage.
30.
As we see one of them there now. Now, I think Richard is determined to win these final 2 stages. It'll be a record-breaking performance if he does, because he'll win every stage of the rally.
Man, is he flying as he's going for that clean sweep.
4 right.
And now we've got a right-hand one coming up.
Absolute straight crest.
Listen to the notes. Absolute flat crest. Do not back off, Richard.
34 right.
Look at the view out to the sea. Great stage.
50.
Look at the view out the front of the car. He's flying.
Finish 30, long 5 left.
Here's the time, 7:46.8.
There we go, Tom.
Oh, God. I'll just wait for me to get my breath back.
No wonder. Smashes the record by 12 seconds. So that's really put the pressure on Hayden Patton, although he was happy with second place, a minute in front of Stuart Taylor.
Into 4 right minor.
Third on the road, third fastest through here. Chris West isn't going to move any further than 5th unless Brett Martin has a problem, but you think he started the day way back in 15th. This has been a great points haul for him.
It's been a great drive too. Showing fair bit of commitment over these stages. The road looks a little bit cut up for him as well.
Into middle, 5 left minus long.
Making the most of what's turned out to be a great testing session to get that speed back again in the Evo. Dean Sumner running 4th on the road, 7th overall.
Well, it's been a challenging rally for Dean Sumner, but the next rally, Whangarei, and remember last year, he nearly won that rally. So he's probably looking forward to that one.
Looking forward to the finish of this one too. fourth fastest across the ups. Brett Martin, he'll retain fourth going into the final stage.
50.
Stuart Taylor hasn't been down to Otago many times, so a conservative approach to this stage is a pretty good idea when you think about it.
5 right plus over small crest, keep right.
Yeah, well, Stuart's got nothing to prove. He's holding third place easily. And, of course, it's another big points haul for him here as well.
Sixth place means Callum McInnes stays ahead of Dean Sumner. Sloane Cox, 8th on the stage, 8th overall, comfortably ahead of Andre Meyer. Meyer was 12 seconds faster than Kirsty Nelson through the stage. That moved him ahead. A great response to her Stage 11 challenge. And with the problems to Emma Gilmore, Nelson was now the first woman in 10th place. So as the rally winds down, let's check out the Kiwi 2 and the Classic classes to see how they finish. Bert Murray held 11th position over the final two stages to be the first Classic in the New Zealand Championship. There wasn't much point Aaron Cook chasing Murray, so he stayed in 12th, leading the Kiwi 2 class, which means he will leave Otago as the Kiwi 2 points leader. And it's Cook following Cook, Reg that is, bringing the micro home on the podium for Kiwi 2, a very competitive 14th overall. Deborah Kibble had a fantastic run through 12 to overtake Rob Wiley, moved into second in the Classic class and 15th overall. So going into the final stage, Wiley had to beat her by 5 seconds over the line to take back the place.
Well, Rob Wiley's an old campaigner. He's been around for a while. So as you say, Clint, he's got to give it the jandle.
5 right. Long 4 left, sorry.
Doesn't the Nissan 240 RS sound great?
Concrete forward again.
It certainly does. And oh, that was nearly a moment.
Let's give it the gumboot, mate. He charges through the stage, 17 seconds faster over 13 kilometres. Fantastic effort here. He gets second place back in the class, finishes 16th overall. Big learning curve for Ben Jagger, the rookie. With Chris Lang on the catch-up all day, the Northland youngster held on to be the first in the Ford Fiesta class, third Kiwi 2, his first podium. And with Patrick Melly retiring on both days in his Fiesta, it was up to Mum and Dad, Dermot and Lindsay, to bring home the escort and the family honour in 19th. And in the spirit of participation and showing that it's not all about speed, Keith Frankham and Mike Cameron coming home at the back of the field.
Come on, Clint, it's the Kiwi can-do attitude coming to the fore here. Although fair to say that Richard Mason could have stopped for a cup of tea mid-stage and still beaten these two.
But they'd still enjoy the cuppa anyway. So 22 finishes on day 2, 12 of them in the Group E and four-wheel drives. Second here last year, but in 2008, Emma Gilmore limped home in 15th. A big job ahead to sort out the car's problems for the next round in Whangarei. Grant Barber next home in 13th. Whoa, a lucky 13th. Kirsty Nelson unable to get back her place as she settles for 10th, 22 seconds behind Andre Meyer. In fact, Meyer was 9th fastest through the final stage, so easily kept that place. But as he has all season, Sloane Cox proving to be the fastest in this group of teenage drivers, finishing 8th. At least Dean Sumner beat home the young prodigy coming out of Rotorua, 7th overall.
7 left, 250. And long 4 right plus, can see. Long 4 right plus, can see. 150.
Callum McInnes coming home 6th, making up for a disappointing day 1. Chris West just didn't have luck on his side this weekend, but what a fight back from 15th to the top 5.
Chris has really put his head down and pushed as hard as he could. In reality, just finished 2 positions below where he may have done without a problem.
Which is good news for Brett Martin as West beat him on all the stages after stage 8, but Martin still finishes 4th. And Stuart Taylor wasn't even sure if he could compete in Otago this year, but what a great performance.
What a great slide.
6 right minus, 60.
Never pushed out of the top 5 on every stage today. 3rd place here will mean 3rd in the points. Aside from his intercom problems, Hayden Patton had a faultless run to finish 2nd overall. Good showing from the 21-year-old after a disappointing start at Wairarapa.
Well, Hayden Patton certainly showed a lot of commitment. He even has time to put the right-hand indicator on. Great drive from Hayden.
But in the end, no one could come close this weekend to Richard Mason. To break the Kuri Bush record was amazing. To be the fastest on every single stage was simply outstanding. As you can see here, he's pushing all the way to the end of the rally.
Don't go wide on 5 right tightens to a 4 minus. Concrete forward. 80, 4 left minus, don't cut. 180. 7 left plus. And long 6 right open tight.
Bit of a nervous moment there for Sarah.
Certainly had luck on their side, but a great drive.
50.
He's looking good this year, this man.
Over finish. 60, 4 right minus. Cool.
Cool, all right. Cool and collected. Richard and Sarah Mason, what a record breaker. Wins every stage of the rally. Fantastic.
Richard, well done for the 3rd time in a row. You won the Otago Rally.
Oh, awesome. This event's great, and I don't know, we'll just wait to see. I thought we went all right on that stage. If we're real lucky, we might win all of the stages.
And he did it too. Richard Mason, a minute 12 advantage over Hayden Patton for day 2. An outstanding fight back from Chris West.
And the 3 teams, Cox, Meyer and Nelson, all in the top 10. Just tell us about the victory. It's totally dominating. Well, from the outside, it looked like dominated right from the word go.
It's certainly nice to be that way. Really, the aim was to make sure that we had small gains on other people, and then you can't be caught if you keep having small gains without too much risk. It just ended up that we get to win all the stages as well, so that went very nicely.
Looks like today Richard really on the long stage is where he really inched ahead.
Yeah, it did, and obviously I struggled a bit on the long one, and then the last stage again overshot a junction. But other than that, I think we're making steps in the right direction. I feel like we're getting faster, and I've stepped up my pace. So bring on Whangarei. I'm sure that will suit us, the tyres and the car.
You must be getting used to these podiums, because also you're 3rd in the championship as well.
Yeah, I would like to get used to them. No, this is good to get 2 podiums in a row, and if we can carry on like this and perhaps get onto some more favoured roads back in the North Island, we're really looking forward to the rest of the championship.
A good points finish too for Aaron Cook and Reg Cook in the Kiwi 2 class, while Ben Jagger first in the Fiestas. Well, the blind brows and the flying crest certainly are great for Aaron Cook. Another win down here, mate. Congratulations on taking out that leg today.
Yeah, it's great to win the day and win the weekend overall, so that's great for our championship.
Yes, it seems to be Cook one day and then, of course, Dave Strong another, so the Kiwi 2 battle is alive and well.
Yeah, it's good that we're having sort of turnabout at winning days, so Dave didn't finish today, so he gets no points, so we should have a bit of a lead in the championship now.
And another New Zealand Classic class win for Bert Murray from Wiley and Kibble. Well, another champagne Sunday, Bert. Must be a great feeling, mate.
Yeah, it is good, to get maximum points both days. That's what we needed to achieve here, and we aimed for 3rd in the Otago Classic outright. As I say, it's 2 rallies in one, so it is difficult. But yeah, we're very happy, very happy.
So as the winners spray the champagne, let's take a look at the championship standings. Richard Mason out in front of the Group N Championship.
Aaron Cook leads the Kiwi 2 over Dave Strong.
Rob Wiley, consistency, putting him in front of Bert Murray in the Classics.
And Hayden Patton leads the junior over 16-year-old Sloane Cox.
So another great leg with the Vantage Aluminium New Zealand Rally Championship. Leg 2 in Otago, dominated just like leg 1 by Richard Mason. Outstanding drive, wasn't it, Roger Davis?
Dominated, all right. He won every stage. They got to the big, long 51-kilometre stage, big stage time, and just disappeared from the opposition from then on.
I was talking to one of the managers of one of the opposition teams, talking about the opposition, and he said, he's just beating us up at the moment. Can they catch up?
I think they can. Hayden Patton, the next round is at Whangarei. Hayden Patton won that rally last year. He's only 29 points behind in the championship in 2nd place, so the championship's not over yet, Clint.
Of course, he's got the nickname of being Shrek, so perhaps it could be Shrek 4, the one to watch out for when we hit the Rally of Whangarei, which is the next round of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. Make sure you join us when we once again get some skids.